I'm Mike Froman, and I was here graduating in the class of 1980. I am Deputy National Security Advisor for International Economic Affairs. When I looked up the other distinguished alumni and saw Kim Belche, who was here when I was here, and people like Julia Child, who obviously made a big mark, I was honored to be included among their midst. And the first man, absolutely. I was delighted to be a gender pioneer here at the Branson School. Like, my experience here was terrific, and I came from public school here, and it was a tremendous challenge. I'd say I had a lot of hard teachers who challenged me and gave me good critiques and made me work hard. It taught me how to write, and I think that was one of my weaknesses when I came to Branson. And Branson put a big emphasis on writing, and I had wonderful English teachers who really, and history teachers who really forced me to deal with that and to write well, and that served me well in college and beyond. It really made me more confident as a writer going forward. I was at Public and International Affairs at Princeton, so international relations basically, but it was interdisciplinary, so you could do economics, sociology, history, politics. And then I went on and I did a doctorate in international relations at Oxford, and then a law degree at Harvard. I mean, this was a terrific environment, and I made good friends. I made good friends among teachers as well, and it really, I think, created a pattern that I found myself replicating at college and graduate school of trying to find the right teacher, mentor to work with, and finding friends that were, shared common interests. And so it was a terrific place. Really, across the board, I found myself challenged here by the teachers and by my fellow students, and I had great memories. Brenda Brown and Marty Talent, and seeing Mr. Richardson here today was a great surprise. John Hall was here as a big presence in the English department, and I just had a great set of teachers. Sure. When I went to Princeton, I really decided I wanted to be involved in politics and international relations, and that led me to graduate school, and even at law school, I tended to focus on international relations. I decided to go into government, and I went into the Clinton administration in the White House, worked on trade policy, intended to be there for a year or two, and then at that point I actually intended to go practice law and then be a law professor. And a year or two turned into 7 years, and I became more and more distant from the practice of law and decided to go into the private sector from there, but always with a strong feeling about public service and serving in government. And I think it's one of those things you can't really plan for. There's a lot of luck involved, and it just really is a matter of taking the opportunities when you can. And the opportunity presented itself in the 90s in the Clinton administration, and it came up again with President Obama. And so when he asked me to join him, I was delighted. We met at law school. He was a fellow law student at Harvard. We served on law review together. He became president of law review, so I worked with him there. And we took different paths after law school. I went to Washington and worked in the Clinton administration. He went back to Chicago to be a community organizer. And when he began to run for political office, I offered and said I knew he had dozens or friends who went to Washington, but if I could be of help in helping him think about Washington and the issues around that, I was happy to. And somewhat to my surprise, he took me up on it. There was a little group of us who he went to law school with him, went to Washington, and he formed a bit of a kitchen cabinet. And we helped him when he first got elected to Senate, organize his office and interview staff and do some strategic planning for him. When he was thinking about running for president, he convened us again to talk about that and to debate the merits of doing that. I introduced him to people who I'd gotten to know in the 90s, either in economic policy or as political advisors, many of whom ended up serving in the administration. And so when he got elected, he asked me to serve on his transition team, and I ran the personnel part of the transition team, helping tee up candidates for him to meet for his cabinet. And when that was over, a variety of circumstances made it possible for me to go in. First of all, I think he's a pretty good judge of character, and he has been able to attract a very good team of people around him, some of which have been friends of his for a long time, but many of which are new to him, and he's been able to weave them together, I think, into a pretty well integrated team. It's strange on one hand to see a contemporary of yours become president of the United States, and to watch that evolution. And you see certain similarities from when he was president of the Harvard Law Review and how he managed the Law Review. But obviously he's grown enormously in stature, in his knowledge of the issues, in his ability to make difficult leadership decisions. And that's been wonderful to watch and to support and be part of. I think there are certain basic skills like writing well and quickly and clearly, which just pay multiple dividends along the way. But there are other skills about working with people, being able to build a team, building a consensus around various issues, which is also very important in a variety of areas. Ultimately, you got to find your passion and what excites you, because you've got to enjoy what you do every day. And when luck presents itself, you're going to have opportunities to take advantage of them. You never know, where those opportunities are going to show up. You turn to your left, turn to your right. One of those people might be president someday, or maybe it's you. And you should just take those opportunities as they arise. As I said to the crowd earlier, as long as I can answer that question at the end of every week, that I feel like I'm doing something good, I'll stay doing what I'm doing. And at some point, I'll move on. But my sense is this is a unique opportunity. This is, I'm sure, imagine, the only time I'll ever know the president personally and have the sort of relationship that I do with him. I want to be as helpful to him as I can in whatever role that he sees fit. And when the time comes, and it always does come, these terms are limited, and politics shift from one win to another. When the time comes for me to move on, I'll move on.